Welcome to the Unraveling the Scriptures channel. The Portuguese and Spanish are possibly the most influential peoples worldwide, including in the genetic makeup of many South American populations. However, do you already know the origin of these two groups? Often, people mistakenly believe that these peoples have no biblical connection. However, the truth is that the Bible, through the genealogies of Noah, presents the roots of numerous groups through their ancient ancestors. In this episode of our series on the biblical origin of the Portuguese and Spanish, we will delve deeper into this theme. Don't forget to leave your like and, more importantly, to share with others who share an interest in biblical genealogies. Let's begin another video in our series, The Origin of Peoples According to the Bible. Portuguese constitute an ethnic group on the Iberian Peninsula, located in the southwest of Europe. Their predominant language is Portuguese, a Romance language, and Catholicism is nominally the dominant religion throughout the country. Together with France, Italy, Spain, and Romania, they form what is known as Latin Europe. Culturally and genetically, the presence of Celtic peoples, Celtic tribes, Romans, Germanic tribes, Arab Moors, and Berbers had a significant impact on the genetic composition of the Portuguese population. For those who do not know, the Celts were an ethnic and cultural group that inhabited much of Central and Western Europe during the Iron Age, from around 800 BC until the gradual decline of their influence with the expansion of the Roman Empire and other cultures. The Celts were a diverse and non-unified group that inhabited a vast region, including parts of present-day France, Spain, Portugal, Britain, Ireland, Scotland, Belgium, the Netherlands, Switzerland, and parts of Germany, Austria, Italy, and the Balkans. They spread across many territories, leading to significant cultural variations within Celtic society. This was largely due to the 800 years of domination by these peoples over the Iberian Peninsula, resulting in a remarkable blend of Portuguese, Arab Moors, and Berbers. This also applies to the Spanish, their siblings, in a sense, who also experienced a similar intermingling. The earliest known inhabitants of the Iberian Peninsula in ancient Europe were called the Tartessian people. Interestingly, the name Tartessos is associated with the descent of Tarshish, who was the son of Javan. Let's now explore the reading of the book of Genesis, chapter 10, verse 4. These are the descendants of Javan, Elisha, Tarshish, Kittim, and Dodanim. We know that Tartessos was the name by which the Greeks referred to the first Iberian civilization, which developed in the late Bronze Age in the region formed by the geographical triangle of the present-day cities of Huelva, Seville, and Cadiz, along the southwest coast of the Iberian Peninsula. Tartessos was an advanced society for its time, with an economy based on agriculture, mining, and trade. They had commercial relationships with various Mediterranean cultures, including the Phoenicians, who founded colonies in the area. The interaction between Tartessos and the Phoenicians is an important aspect of their history. The Phoenicians established colonies along the southern coast of the Iberian Peninsula, such as Gades, modern-day Cadiz, and engaged in trade with Tartessos. The Phoenicians were responsible for spreading Eastern influence in the region and influencing Tartessian culture. This civilization had the Guadalquivir River, known as Tartessus by the Greeks, as its central axis. It was adjacent to the Phoenician colony, and the Tartessians likely developed a distinct ancient language and writing system from their neighboring peoples. Furthermore, they had significant cultural influences from the Egyptians and even the Phoenicians. Therefore, the genetics of the Portuguese people are primarily composed of the Tartessian people, who, according to the Bible, were the children and descendants of Tarshish, who was the son of Javan, who was the son of Japheth, one of Japheth's descendants. There is also a significant Celtic contribution from Celtic tribes, as indicated by genealogy, where Riphath, the son of Gomer, is considered an ancestor of the Celtic tribes according to Irish traditions. The ancient Roman influence is a clear Latin contribution to the genetics of the Portuguese people, based on the descent of Tiras, one of the sons of Japheth, according to ancient interpretations. Additionally, there is a substantial Germanic contribution from Germanic tribes to the genetic composition of the Portuguese people, based on the descent of Ashkenaz, which, according to ancient interpretations, is part of the Japhetic heritage. It's important to remember that Ashkenaz was the son of Gomer and the grandson of Japheth. Now, last but perhaps the most significant contribution of all that the Portuguese received was the Moorish and Berber Arab contribution. We know that Arabs, Moors, and Berbers are all Semitic peoples. Arabs, in particular, are descendants of Shem, who are also considered Semitic. They arrived in the Iberian Peninsula from Morocco, which, in turn, had connections to the Arabian Peninsula. This represents a genetic contribution from the Semitic descent of Shem. Furthermore, the presence of the famous Sephardic Jews also had a significant impact on the history of Portugal and, consequently, on the genetics of the Portuguese people, bringing a Semitic genetic influence. The Portuguese language also shows many Arabic influences, despite being a Romance language, due to migrations and intermixing throughout history. Now, as for the Spanish people and their biblical origin, as well as some curiosities about them, Spaniards form an ethnic group in Spain, on the Iberian Peninsula, with various ethnic origins due to multiple invasions and migrations that have occurred throughout the country's history. The most widely spoken language by Spaniards is Spanish, or Castilian, a Romance language that developed from a medieval Latin dialect spoken in the historical region of Castile in Spain. In addition to Spanish, there are other officially recognized languages in Spain within their respective autonomous communities, such as Catalan, Basque, and Galician. There are also other languages spoken in the Spanish territory that do not have official recognition in their autonomous communities, such as Aragonese and various varieties of Asturo-Leonese. In terms of genetic heritage, Spaniards share some similarities with their Portuguese neighbors. Spaniards also have a genetic heritage from the Tartessian peoples, similar to the Portuguese. Additionally, they have genetic influences from Celtic tribes, as they share the descent of Riphath, the son of Gomer, and grandsons of Japheth. They also have a Roman genetic heritage due to the descent of Tiras, which is related to the Etruscans and Latins, among other ancient peoples who inhabited Italy. Like the Portuguese, Spaniards also have a significant Moorish Arab heritage and Sephardic Jewish heritage. The presence of Semitic genetics is evident, primarily from the contributions of the Arabs, who are Semitic peoples, and the Berbers. However, it's important to mention that Spaniards also have a strong Moorish Arab and Sephardic Jewish heritage, something that is sometimes overlooked. Genetic studies show that Spaniards have a significant genetic affinity with peoples from Morocco, Algeria, Egypt, and even Saudi Arabia, reflecting the influence of these populations on their genetic composition. This entire genetic landscape was shaped by the entry of the Moors into the Iberian Peninsula, where they established their dominion for centuries, resulting in genetic mixing with the local population. Independent studies of genetics and haplogroup markers clearly demonstrate that Spaniards have close ties with the rest of Europe, especially the populations of the Atlantic coast, such as France, Great Britain, and Ireland, due to their Celtic heritage. Additionally, there is a strong genetic connection with their Iberian neighbor, Portugal. According to a study published in the American Journal of Genetics, approximately 30% of the Spanish population shares genetic characteristics with Middle Eastern populations, including Arabs and North Africans. Spain maintains strong cultural ties with the Western world, dating back to a common medieval and Roman heritage, as well as robust cultural relationships with Latin America and Latin European countries such as Italy, Portugal, and France, due to various migrations and intermixing. Therefore, it is highly likely that Brazilians with Portuguese or Spanish surnames in their family tree carry in their DNA traces of Arab, Sephardic Jewish, and Berber peoples from North Africa, which were already present in the genetic heritage of the Portuguese and Spaniards. The truth is that genetics, origins, migrations, and intermixing make the Portuguese and Spaniards fascinating. In my opinion, the genetic diversity of these peoples is incredibly captivating. I hope you have enjoyed this exploration of the origins of the Portuguese and Spaniards, who are Indo-European peoples with influences from different ethnic groups, including Semites. Leave comments if you wish to learn about the biblical origins of other ethnic groups, and we will be happy to include that information in our studies and produce videos about it. May God bless you. See you soon.